Fresh lime dust hangs in the air on the Palatine Hill, sharp as bitten chalk. Vinegar rides underneath it, an honest stink the palace tries to pass off as cleanliness. The stone corridors still wear dark, irregular maps where blood once dried. Servants have scrubbed with sand until the marble pretends to be new. But the seams keep what they are given. Memory lives in cracks. A 15-year-old girl steps over the threshold as if entering a temple that hates prayer. Silk slides against her skin, and even that small sound feels dangerous. A myrtle crown rests on her golden hair, green against marble, fragile against power. The crown is meant to say purity. The palace hears only usefulness. Eyes find her before she finds the hall. In Rome, being seen is not attention. It is inspection. Every archway frames her like a display. Every torch makes the shadows deeper where men stand without names. Up ahead, the Senate rises. Below, the crowd behind the railings roars approval, loud enough to crush the panic of recent years. They cheer the way drowning men clap for a plank of wood. Their voices are not love, they are need. She keeps her mouth soft, her spine straight. Training holds her like a second set of bones. The first terror arrives without a blade, the terror of waiting while everyone decides what she is allowed to be. Claudius waits beneath polished stone and incense smoke, 50 years pressed into his body like damp into wood. His gait drags. His speech sometimes tangles on itself. The palace has laughed at him before, quietly, behind sleeves. Now the same palace calls him salvation. When he takes her hand, his grip is too tight for ceremony. It is not tenderness, it is possession. He holds her as if her wrist is a seal he can stamp onto Rome. She feels the pressure all the way up her arm. A vow is spoken. A ring catches the light. The crowd surges again, hungry for stability they can dress in white. Around them, senators bow with their faces arranged into respect, but their eyes measure. Freedmen listen like spiders. Guards watch the doors, as if the room itself might revolt. She lowers her gaze at the exact moment she was taught. It looks like modesty. It is survival. The shame of being used is swallowed before it can become sound. Her name is pronounced publicly. Valeria Messalina, turned from a person into a signal. Some mouths smile. Some faces exchange a quick look, as if the city is already guessing it will one day want to carve her out of the world. Beneath the bright hall, cold collects in the tunnel under the palace. Stone sweating, air thick with old breath. It still reeks of damp and stale sweat, where hands once closed around daggers. A mouse slips along the edge of darkness, the only thing moving freely. Above, wine is poured and vows are praised. Below, the tunnel keeps the shape of panic. Caligula's death has not had time to fade from Rome's body. The city remembers executions staged as entertainment, orders given as whims, families disappearing overnight. Rome learned to laugh when it should have cried, and to stay silent when it should have screamed. In that day of chaos, curtains shook, and behind them, Claudius, Palatine shame, a man people looked through instead of at, found with his palms pressed to fabric as if cloth could erase him, dragged into the open, not because anyone believed in him, but because the city needed a name before it tore itself apart. That lesson still rules the palace like an invisible law. Whoever is alive can be declared salvation. Whoever is declared salvation can be discarded. Messalina walks above that tunnel now, unaware of how close her future sits to old blood. The palace does not warn. It only watches. In the forum, Voices pulse and try to sound normal. Scales clink. Grain pours into sacks. Merchants praise cloth as if cloth can protect. Children dart between columns, their laughter quick and thin, cut short whenever a man in purple passes, whenever a guard's helmet catches the sun. On the surface, Rome holds its shape. Underneath, fear settles like dust in the folds of clothing. Tiberius has been dead only a short time, and his paranoia still stains the air. Then came Caligula. 4 years that taught the city law could be a toy broken for amusement. In senators' houses, women stand quietly against walls, listening for the step of a messenger. Men speak of aqueducts and grain, but think only of who will be next. Uncertainty sits low like fog. It does not scream. It suffocates. Messalina's name has existed until now mostly in genealogies, ink lines pointing backward toward old blood, old claims. She's not yet a cure. She's a tool being sharpened behind doors. Rome makes decisions in rooms where her voice does not enter. Then it acts like those rooms never existed. The day Caligula falls, sound changes inside the palace. Footsteps become hard, short, certain. The praetorians move like a single body. Daggers do not ask permission. Flesh collapses. It happens fast, but the consequences stretch long. Caligula's wife lies beside him. Then the child. A small daughter, her head striking stone because Rome does not leave roots behind. Order is maintained by cutting the future as well as the present. The city exhales as if surfacing from water. Then panic returns, because the space left by a tyrant is hungry. Senators whisper between columns, hands trembling over wax tablets meant for laws. Guards glance at each other, searching for a new purple before the crowd becomes a weapon. And somewhere in that confusion, a curtain again becomes a refuge. Claudius is pulled out and dressed in authority, not chosen by gods, chosen by necessity pressing on the throat. Messalina is still a girl in this storm, but the storm is already shaping her. Rome's need is never gentle. Claudius sits among ledgers and grain lists as if paper can keep the world from becoming liquid. He cannot charm the crowd. He cannot walk without his limp. His words sometimes break before they arrive at the end. And still, they drape him in purple as if fabric can seal weakness. Another rule spreads quietly through the city, spoken without ceremony because it is too obvious to require ritual. The emperor must have an heir. Without an heir, purple is only cloth laid on a corpse. Senate wants a dynasty. The crowd wants a future it can point to. The praetorians want the city stable long enough to keep collecting pay. Claudius understands the simplest truth. He is a temporary answer, and temporary answers are removed when they stop being useful. So they look for a girl, not a person. Proof. Bloodline. A name that sounds like destiny. Messalina is 15. She's been trained to lower her eyes at the correct moment, to smile with just enough obedience to look like virtue. In her body, it is not virtue. It is a practiced way to avoid harm. The Palatine wedding is not only an oath, it is a repair performed in public. Incense burns in the atrium. Household gods receive wine as if even divinity needs convincing. The white of her clothing is not innocence in Rome. It is political necessity painted onto flesh. She stands still while the room leans toward her, 1,000 eyes fastening expectations onto her bones. Stability, airs, silence, gratitude. She can feel the weight of being watched as if it is another garment, heavier than silk. Claudius's tired smile does not soften his fingers around her hand. His grip says what everyone else is too polite to speak. Rome wants a symbol, not a breathing girl. The crowd cheers because cheering is cheaper than questions. Senators bow and measure. Guards stare. Freedmen memorize everything. A crack appears inside her, quiet and thin, because a symbol is not supposed to fear. But she fears. She fears the corridors, the locks, the listening walls, the way every servant's face is blank with knowledge. At night, when lamps die low, steps of guards sound inside the palace itself. Protection or cage. Rome does not distinguish. For a time, everything looks correct. She gives Claudius a daughter, Octavia, then a son, Britannicus. Names are spoken at sacrifices, carved into family records, repeated in the Senate until they harden into stone. The city relaxes. An air means the tunnel beneath the palace might remain quiet. People tell themselves that blood will not have to wash marble again. In public, she becomes the image of a Roman matron, veiled, head covered, eyes lowered. Every gesture is rehearsed like a dance performed to the music of power. Her hands lift at rituals for chastity and household order. Incense slides over her face while men who decide life and death watch from half shadow. She appears calm. She appears like a solution. In private, the palace remains what it is. Thick walls that do not stop whispers. Servants hear everything. Guards see more than they should. Everyone in the palace understands a secret is currency, and she begins to understand it too. The uncertainty of who knows what becomes its own instrument. The feeling of being watched never disappears. It only changes its purpose. Rome keeps women in two boxes, and both lids are heavy. Matrona and meretrix. Sacred and profane. One belongs to the household, protects family honor, bears children. The other belongs to the subura, the narrow streets where darkness is safer than a name. The system works as long as these worlds stay separate, so men can pretend honor and appetite do not touch. Messalina sits surrounded by marble and hears the way people speak about her without speaking. Her worth remains the same: youth, fertility, public purity. Power is placed on her like jewelry and forbidden to her like a locked door. Doors open at a gesture, yet her steps must remain humble. The contradiction presses slowly, like a stone on the chest. Inside that pressure, something begins to grow. Not loud rebellion. Loud rebellion dies quickly in Rome. Something quieter, shaped by the knowledge that she is being observed anyway. If the city insists on watching, then the watching can be turned. Waiting becomes the palace's constant terror. Waiting for a new order. Waiting for a whisper from the Praetorians. Waiting for Claudius to decide whether rumors are real. Waiting as a slow punishment. Some break under waiting. Some learn to use it. Around the year 42, whispers start where whispers always start. Kitchens, baths, docks, places where sweat mixes with news. A senator returns late from a banquet, unwilling to sleep in the palace because the palace has too many ears. He walks into the subura where insulae lean close and oil lamps make weak islands of light. A small room, a payment, quiet bought with coin. A woman enters with a dark wig, heavy kohl around her eyes, perfume thick enough to cover something expensive beneath. When she lifts her face, the world tilts. Not simply a woman, the Empress. The senator freezes, not with desire, but with a fear so sharp it tastes like metal. There is no safe way to speak what he has seen. To accuse her is to sign his own death. To remain silent is to become owned. In that instant, shame becomes a chain. He is not powerful anymore. He is evidence. She does not raise her voice. She does not need to. Her calm is a command. The Subura becomes a place where Rome's categories bleed together, and bleeding is always dangerous. A new rule is born without being written. Whoever recognizes her is never free again. Before dawn, the Subura empties. Wine stink lingers. Laughter scraps cling to walls. Messalina returns to the palace while the first household offering still smolders on the altar. Servants open doors without questions. In the palace, questions kill faster than poison. She washes away cheap perfume, removes the wig, puts on silk again. Her face holds the same controlled calm as if crossing between worlds is only changing clothes. She enters the ritual space where morning prayers are performed. Her hands lift exactly as she was taught. The Vestals stand nearby, their white meaning obligation rather than performance. Even they feel something unnamed in the room, a tension that does not belong to incense. Eyes follow her, guards, officials, freedmen. Some suspect, some know. Uncertainty becomes a shield, because to accuse her would also expose themselves. Rome continues dividing women into boxes. She begins moving between them like a blade sliding between ribs, not to seek sweetness, but to feel choice. Each time someone sees, they learn to stay silent. Silence becomes the palace's language. The banquet looks like order, cushions aligned, tables heavy with meat glazed in honey, fruit hauled from provinces that only exist as names to most of the room. Wine moves freely, and with it safe conversation. Britain, courts, grain. Civilization spoken aloud like a spell meant to hold, yet the real substance of the room is waiting. Messalina reclines at the center, placed where the light favors her more than anyone else. Her face is bright by design. Around her, men remain in half shadow, their importance measured by how close they sit and how carefully they watch her hands. The background dissolves into incense haze, a reminder that nothing here is meant to feel solid. She does not raise her voice. She does not need to. A slight pause. A glance held a moment too long. Servants understand before words arrive. They withdraw. Doors close with a sound that is neither loud nor soft, just final. Others enter, then, not announced. Men whose skin still remembers sand and iron. Performers trained to smile through anything. Captives whose names are not worth the effort of remembering. Sometimes young aristocrats brought with promises that smell like opportunity until they are inside the room. No order is given. That is the cruelty. The waiting thickens, heavy as cloth soaked in water. Everyone feels it, the pressure of being seen, of being measured, of not knowing what refusal would cost. In Rome, a command can be survived. Uncertainty eats slower and deeper. Eyes drop to the floor. Some stare at tiles because stone does not judge back. Others fix their gaze on Messalina's face, searching for mercy that will not be shown openly. Shame settles early, before anything happens, because the choice has already been taken away. Outside the palace walls, the city continues selling grain and silk. Inside, loyalty is written without ink into bodies that will leave quieter than they arrived. Autumn, year 48. Claudius is away in Ostia, counting grain because hunger topples cities faster than blades. Sea wind carries gull cries across ledgers and numbers. Even here, waiting hangs in the air. Then Narcissus comes. No ceremony, no soft entry. His face carries the color of a man bringing something that cannot be folded smaller. The message lands without drama, because drama is unnecessary. The Empress has married again, publicly, with witnesses, with contracts and seals. For a moment, Claudius says nothing. His silence is dense, pressed full of two things colliding at once: humiliation and the knowledge of how quickly power can turn. This is not a private insult. It is an attack on the purple itself. The order does not take long. In Rome, decisions of this kind never do. Messalina waits in the Lucullan gardens, surrounded by beauty meant for leisure: foreign trees, flowing water, paths designed for pleasure. Now it is only a decorated cage. Her mother urges, pleads, commands. Words pile up and slide off. For years, uncertainty protected her. Now uncertainty sharpens against her skin. Soldiers arrive. Some faces are familiar. She has heard their steps in palace corridors, felt their watching at night. Perhaps once she dismissed them with a gesture. Now they are a wall with no expression. She drops to her knees, not from belief in mercy, but because the body reaches for any remaining tool. She offers everything: names, promises, even her children: Octavia, Britannicus, as if an order can be negotiated. No one answers. Soldiers are not judges, they are instruments. She takes the blade offered to her. Her hand shakes. The metal touches her throat. The movement does not finish. It is not weakness. It is the last appearance of something Rome never rewarded: human hesitation. The strike comes from another hand, efficient, forgettable. Blood darkens the grass that once framed laughter. She dies at 25. Rome exhales, telling itself a sickness has been cut away. Immediately, the work begins. Statues pulled down, faces chipped from stone, her name carved out letter by letter, as if each strike can undo what was seen. Records rewritten, wax reheated, memory sentenced. Yet in senators' houses, chairs remain empty where silence grew too heavy. In patrician families, daughters return changed, their voices altered by rooms where waiting taught them what refusal costs. The Palatine grows quiet again. Lamps burn low. Guards pace. Claudius sits with laws and numbers alone in the way rulers often are. The Empress is gone, her image destroyed. What remains cannot be chiseled out: the habit of silence, the knowledge of how shame binds tighter than chains, the understanding that power does not need to shout to be obeyed. The garden grows over the blood. No marker stands there. Rome calls it order. And the question is left hanging in the dark corridors, unanswered, unjudged. When corruption stops being a side effect of power and becomes its method, who is truly holding whom?